Today I'll be taking you over to Canvas and showing you what we'll be working on for the rest of this week as we close out the school year. Okay, so we go over to Canvas today. Remember to have your attendance taken before noon. And click on the e-learning button. And I'm going to go ahead and make all of this live. And then we'll talk through each part. So last week we began the cruise project, and you worked on a packet that had quite a bit of math in it to just determine, some things about the cruise, money that was spent, things about the cruise ship itself, and some of its employees. So today we're live at 8:30 to discuss the next part of the cruise project, which is the presentation. So I've broken the presentation down into 4 parts. So there's going to be one part for you to work on each day this week: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Remember, Friday is also a virtual learning day, so that we didn't have to come back next week on just one day, a Tuesday. So each day I'm going to give an overview of the project as well as discuss the expectations for that day. So the first link below, there's 3 links here that I'll keep active all week, but the first one is the cruise project presentation information that came from the packet. If you don't want to keep opening or closing your packet, you'll be able to get a lot of that information you need right there in that image. The next link is a timeline. So it says cruise presentation suggested timeline. This timeline splits the work up basically into 4 days. And so if you feel you want to work ahead, you're welcome to do that. Or you can follow the timeline, which will ensure that you finish it by Friday. That'll allow you to kind of wrap things up and not have to worry about schoolwork over the weekend because it's the end of the school year. So we kind of want to wrap things up on Friday, and hopefully you're not carrying your work over. I think a problem a lot of you ran into with the packet was you waited until too late to work on it and didn't get it finished. So I was really pretty disappointed with the number of packets that were even turned in. Unfortunately, that deadline closed yesterday at noon, so you'll need to continue working on the presentation, but just leave the packet since you can't turn it in. Then there's also a sample slide, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's just an example of what your presentation should look like as you're going through and using it. So first I'm going to open up the presentation information that comes from the packet. This is just an image I snipped so that you had access to it and could see it throughout the week. So the week of May 12th to the 15th, that's where we are now. You're creating an electronic presentation. You can use PowerPoint, Google Slides, Prezi, some other electronic presentation of your cruise vacation, and it has to include the following elements. So I have this on here so you can see everything that has to be on the slides or in the slideshow in the presentation. So first you have to have a title slide. You need a minimum of 12 pictures from the places you visit as indicated in the document. So, remember all the islands that you stop at: St. Martin, St. Thomas, Barbados. Those are all islands that you want to make sure you're getting pictures from those places. One slide for each island you visit, and we have that broken down into the different days as well, but this slide should include the name of the island. We're also going to have you look up the latitude and longitude of each destination. Now I want to remind you, when you look up latitude and longitude, you get a decimal that goes out to, I think, about the 10,000th place. We want you to round that to the nearest 10th. So all of your latitude and longitude values will be like 27.8. Okay, we just want one decimal place there. And then a little bit of a journal entry that kind of describes the story behind your visit. So remember, we all took the same cruise trip. We all did the exact exact same things, but our stories can look a little different, obviously, because we have different people writing them. Everything is due Monday by noon. There are no exceptions this time. Our grades are due, so everything has to be in by noon. I haven't been letting anybody turn anything in late anyway, so I say no exceptions, but I've said that all along. So again, everything's due by Monday at noon. Our grades are actually due the following Tuesday morning because report cards can start getting picked up. So the presentation is 20 points total. You get 2 points basically for each day you're on the cruise ship. So you'll see how that works out in the slide. And we're giving 4 points for creativity. The ship or the cruise was 8 days long. So 8 times 2 is 16 plus 4. That gives 20 total points. Okay, so let's look at the next piece of information. The next thing is a suggested timeline, and I have this on here because if you work at this pace, you're doing a little bit each day, you will finish in time by Friday. Now, you're welcome to download any of these things to your computer, or you can just look at them here through Canvas, but you'll have access to all of these things all week long. Whoa, and that font got really funky. That says Cruise Project Presentation, Agenda, and Suggested Timeline. That looks pretty silly. Okay, so each day would be its own individual slide. You've got 20 points total, 2 points per day, 8 days, which is 16 points. Again, 4 points for creativity. The slides, days 1 through 6, should include the name of the island, latitude and longitude, again, your journal describing the story. So some of that same stuff we just went over is here. So today is Tuesday. We have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for your timeline. But we're just going to go over today, and then I'll show you a sample slide that's not what you would do because it's not for one of the islands we're visiting. We did a sample slide on a different island, but so today the first thing you should do is create a title slide. It could say something like Cameron's Cruise, Aiden's Awesome Adventure, something like that, so that you kind of catch our attention. Don't have it be boring. Some of you know how to do things like insert pictures into the backgrounds, or you can just add pictures to that first slide. You can pick a theme, something that makes it creative though. And then you're going to work on 2 slides, one for Saturday's portion of the trip and one for Sunday. So remember, on day 1, you did several things. You flew to San Juan. Remember, we left early in the morning on that Saturday morning. We got to the ship. We boarded it and got ready to leave. That all happened in San Juan, Puerto Rico. That's where we boarded our cruise ship. And so you can talk about your flight. I've had pictures of airplanes before. I've had students taking pictures of cruise ships that are docked in San Juan. Whatever you want to do picture-wise to talk about what that first day looked like. Remember, the boat hasn't actually left yet, so you're still there, I think, until either really late that night or even the next morning. But you had to be on the ship on that Saturday to get ready to leave. So that was Saturday. Then on Sunday, the second day of your cruise, you stop at your first island, St. Thomas Island. So this is, again, you'll want to Google some pictures. Remember what you do. In the morning, you went shopping, and you can go back to the packet and read all about that. In the afternoon, you went on an island tour, so you can write about that. Now, as you're journaling, you might ask, what are your expectations? Well, journal entries are usually longer than 2 or 3 sentences, so I want you at least to have a paragraph. Remember that a good paragraph, is 5 to 7 sentences. So that should be the expectation for each of these slides. Again, you want them to look neat, creative, bright, colorful, fun. You're on a cruise, so this is really cool. So that's what you're doing today. If you get those 3 items done today, create a title slide, then work on your San Juan, Puerto Rico, and your St. Thomas Island slides. You'll be in really good shape and ready to start tomorrow. Remember, each slide should have pictures, the name of the island, the latitude and longitude. Again, round to the nearest tenth of a degree. And also a little bit of a journal entry. That's a 5 to 7 sentence story about what you're doing. And you might have to go back to your packet and read, okay, what did I do that day? I gotta get some better explanation of that. We'll go over Wednesday through Friday. On those days, you will submit it on Canvas. I haven't created the assignment yet, excuse me, but I will. You're welcome to work ahead because all of the information is here. If you want to be done before Friday, that's all up to you. Okay, then the last piece of information is just a sample slide that we created on PowerPoint. And so let me get this to load. Okay, so the slide that we did is Catalina Island. This is just an island in California. So obviously this is not part of your cruise, but we didn't want to do one of your actual locations. So Catalina Island in California, there's the name of the island. We have its absolute location rounded to the nearest tenth, 33.4 degrees north, 118.4 degrees west. Remember, you can get all of that information through Google. Here are several images from Catalina Island, and then a little bit of a journal entry. So it says, today we stopped at our first island. Catalina Island is located just off the coast of California. And then it goes on to kind of share what was done that day. So this is maybe what a sample slide might look like. So each day of your trip, remember that these are the expectations. Images, we need the absolute location, latitude, longitude, the name of the island, and a journal entry here. Don't have to worry about this natural resource. That's something that we used to do, but we're not doing that this round. So this is what you need to be doing. This is what a slide should look like. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our e-learning module again so you can kind of see everything laid out. So here it all is again. So there was the information from the packet, which a lot of that was on that timeline, the timeline for you to follow, and then also a sample slide. This presentation again will be downloaded to Canvas, uploaded to Canvas, sorry, and you will have to have it turned in by Monday. So now I'm going to switch back over to our Skype. Stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions about what your expectations are? If you don't have any questions, you're free to go. And we will be back tomorrow to discuss what the expectation is for Wednesday and what parts of the slideshow you should be working on for Wednesday. All right, then, so we do 2 slides a day. Yeah, basically, today you're actually doing a 3 because I want you to get that title slide in there, but that one won't take you very long. But yes, it's basically 2 slides a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for 8 total days on the trip. Again, you are welcome to work ahead. I just don't encourage you to work behind. And so if there aren't any questions, you're both free to go, and I will talk tomorrow. See ya.